It doesn't matter. We all are abiding by the same rules.
The mainstream media's gaslighting machine, C-SPAN's fake neutrality, and the Wall Street Journal's establishment polished propaganda is in overdrive, framing the latest Epstein file drops and Clinton depositions as boring non-stories to make millions of awake Americans feel like the crazy ones.
So what did we learn about the relationship of the Clintons to Jeffrey Epstein?
Fairly limited information. She was adamant that she really had no relationship with Jeffrey Epstein at all. And I think her posture was just, why am I here?
I mean, I expected a lot of interesting questions today, but Pizzagate was not on my list.
Pizzagate. And this is where the body language gets fascinating. Pay close attention to what her right hand does before she even starts answering.
Pizzagate was totally made up. It was an outrageous allegation that ended up hurting a number of people, that caused a deranged young man to show up with his assault rifle and shoot up a local pizzeria.
Did you catch it? Her right hand goes straight to her chin, covering her neck. That is a classic pacifying gesture. She is protecting her most vulnerable area. And for someone about to debunk a conspiracy she calls totally bogus, that is a remarkably defensive posture. And she only drops the hand when she mentions the young man with the rifle, and that's the moment she felt she was on solid ground. Facts that she could point to.
Are you aware of any files that were on Anthony Weiner's laptop in a folder that was titled insurance, life insurance, with a zip file titled frazzled?
This is within the scope. Is this within the scope, Mr. Chairman?
The chairman rules that it's not within the scope.
Bill Clinton's name hits nearly 1,200 times in the DOJ release. Lolita Express flights, hot tub pics with redacted mystery women, Ghislaine Maxwell selfies, birthday notes. Bill was just being the Bill we all know.
You didn't have any feelings about young women massaging your husband. I am not going to offer opinions or speculation about anything that I have no context for and was not there.
Of course, he plays the wistful old statesman in his narcissistic disorder testimony, reminiscing about cordial chats and Clinton Foundation trips, while swearing he saw nothing wrong after ditching Epstein post-2008. Hillary clocks in at over 800 mentions, yet claims zero memory of ever meeting the guy, never flying on his plane or stepping on his island, pure stonewalling. As she deflects to Trump and dodges the 2015 Lutnick fundraiser email that invited Epstein despite supposed severed ties.
You asked me
I have
about
met
Howard
with Epstein
Lutnick.
survivors. I'm a survivor myself. You have emails. You've denied that Jeffrey Epstein, that you tried to get Jeffrey Epstein to give money to you.
I did
but
not.
Howard Lutnick was
If you
used
have
to
an
get
email
money.
with me asking Jeffrey
I
Epstein
have
for
an
money,
email from Howard Lutnick sending it to Jeffrey Epstein and his people to raise money
I
for
don't
you
know
for
about
an event.
Not to mention Ghislaine being a +1 at her daughter's exclusive wedding.
When the wedding occurred, she was with Ted White, and she was for several more years. We did not know when Epstein was arrested that she was still involved with him. I think that clears a lot of this up. We didn't know.
We don't know what they have. We don't know if the videotapes that were in these storage lockers were ever recovered. We don't know when that hacking took place, what was removed from the FBI files and documents. So there's a lot that we don't know. But what we do know is that this man was capable of blackmail, of compromise, of Prince Andrew, of Bill Clinton, of Bill Gates. The Prime Minister of Norway, we're finding out now, may have been a target of blackmail. So he had tentacles all over the world. He was working with other countries, Russia, China, Iran, Israel. Who knows what he told these individuals?
What everyday people actually saw was two serial liars, while the Epstein avalanche finally catches up with their tarnished legacy. But the American people now have the house surrounded, and the thieves are still refusing to come out with their hands up. John Bound reporting for InfoWars.
Oh, Bill Welcome to the show. It's March 4th, 2026, Wednesday night. We're going to have a guest on tonight, and he couldn't make it. The last minute he had to cancel, so he'll be here on Friday with John and I. We're going to get into a bunch of stuff about military, the importance of Iran, taking Iran out, and what his, what he thinks about it. 32 years in the Army, Master Sergeant. So we'll see how that goes on Friday. It'd be good to see a different perspective, because the perspective that I've seen a lot of is that this war was unnecessary and we shouldn't be in it. So we'll get it from somebody that's boots on the ground for 32 years on Friday. All right, so let's talk about Bill and Hillary Clinton. We know that Bill and Hillary was all in the Pizzagate scandal, and we know that Hillary is a pathological liar, and everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. And you could tell by the way she reacted to some of those questions that she felt like she shouldn't even have been there. Like, why are you wasting my time here on this deposition or whatever, House, I guess it's the Oversight Committee. And Bill, again, I didn't have sexual relations with that woman, right? Same thing. Always same old. And, I said it last week, they're not going to do anything to these people. If they are, I'd be super shocked at this point, considering we have 0 arrests, 0 indictments. We just have a lot of hot smoke and mirrors, and at this point, I don't even know if they'll ever do anything. And now with the way this war is going and everything, I don't see any of the Democrats ever getting indicted or any of that stuff. So I'm hoping I'm wrong about all that, but it just doesn't seem like anything's going to happen to the Clintons or to the Epstein saga or to Edward Barack or Bill Gates or it'd actually be nice to hear, to see Bill Gates or one of those people get hung up for all the crimes. But, again, more is happening in other countries around these pedophiles than there are in the United States of America. That tells you everything you need to know. And I'm not trying to be a downer on Trump, but Trump is really there's no way around it. There's no way that I could see it any other way except for the moves that he's made in the last month or a few months have just been absolutely horrible, completely against everything that he run on any of his platforms for 10 years. He hasn't taken out the deep state. Matter of fact, he's brought the deep state back into the cabinet. Susie Wiles, Marco Rubio, they're all deep staters. We know that they were all deep staters from way back, Letnick. I mean, come on. We know now after seeing what's came out on Letnick, the truth about him too. I mean, it's just horrible. And I don't understand what happened. Like something has happened to this cabinet in the last couple months. And, I wish I could say that I knew something, but especially considering all the support that all of us have given Donald Trump for years, 10 years. And I guess I'll say all the people that were talking shit about Trump must have been right. I hate to say it, I really do, man, because I really want I want what's best for this country, and I just don't I don't see it. I don't see anything positive happening right now except for uh, you know, about 10% of the illegal aliens getting removed from our country. Not as many as I mean, shit. Barack Obama had more removals from the United States than Trump has had. And I get it. Every turn, everything that happens with Donald Trump is a fight. Everybody, they're all fighting against him constantly and all that stuff. And the only good thing that I could see that he has done recently was that State of the Union. That was a very well played State of the Union. That's for sure. So we're going to get into some of this stuff tonight. But let's get into let's get into this. What I'd like to say is this is, we go back to the white coats, and if we could just go back to like QAnon or something, how, oh, Trump's playing, 52D chess, and trust the plan, and it's all going to work out and all that stuff. I wish we could do that. I really do, but I just don't see it. This is why. Play this clip for you. I hope my system's better than it has been, because my system has been pretty screwy the last few streams, except for maybe last week. Hopefully it was better. Anyway, check this out. Let's get into this. 10 years of Trump.
I am the candidate of peace. I am peace. People don't believe that. I am peace.
A vote for Donald Trump is a vote for a man who wants to end wars, not start them.
We do not want war with Iran. We actually want peace. The Iranians are clearly not very good at war. Perhaps they should follow President Trump's lead and give peace a chance.
Kamala's campaigning with warmongers like Liz Cheney. How do you think that is? She picks Liz Cheney, whose father virtually destroyed the Middle East. Liz Cheney, she talks big. Oh, I want war. She always wants war. Every time I was with her in the White House, we should attack this nation, that nation, nations that people never even heard of. We should attack. She's a big, tough guy. She sits back in Washington. Oh, we ought to go and attack Iran, Iraq. We're going to attack everybody. That's why I broke up with her. All she wanted to do is go to war with everybody. These war hawks, they want to draft your kids to die in wars, and they will never fight themselves. We'll stay around the country for 15 years, just bomb the hell out of everybody, make everybody miserable. Nobody knows why we're there, the wars that never end. These endless wars that we've been in, I've gotten us out of so many. We don't want to get into wars. We're tired of fighting. I'm the only president in the last 84 years that didn't start a war. Under Trump, we will have no more wars, no more wars, no more wars. We will have prosperity and peace. We will have prosperity and we will have peace. Remember, I'm the president of peace. They said, he will start a war. I'm not going to start a war. I'm going to stop wars. He's going to start a war. I said, no. My rhetoric is going to keep us out of wars. And that's what happened. My proudest legacy will be that of a peacemaker. That's what I want to be, a peacemaker. We will measure our success not only by the battles we win, but also by the wars that we end, and perhaps most importantly, the wars we never get into. Our
Yeah, I wanted to start there. I apologize for that. I apologize for cutting that a little short, but get the point. You get the point. All right, let's get into some of this commentary here. We got some clips we're going to go over about different people talking about what their thought is on all this and what they think. And you know, when I'm asked lots, I'm asked all the time, what do I think about this war? And I think that it's two-sided because if in fact Iranians or Iran or the mullahs or Mossad or, you know, want to kill us, you know, death to America and all that stuff, then I don't want to have to worry about that, right? That's one part. But the other part is if the stories that are being told through all this commentary about they were trying to make a deal and we kept moving the goalpost, that really brings me to a really tough situation because like we don't want war. Like the majority of people do not want war. And so here we are and they keep saying, "Oh, we're not at war. We're just you know, protecting ourselves, you know." Well, then they had the War Powers Act failed. They tried to take the push the War Powers Act and it failed. So they can't stop Trump from doing this now. And it sounds like they're going to push for full scale war from what I can tell. We're going to check on that here in a minute. But let's play a couple of these clips and see what people are saying because I think that I don't know enough about overseas wars and these people do. Before we do, there was something said that people are saying that Trump was pressured into, and Marco Rubio said that he was basically pressured into attacking Iran because if he didn't, Israel was going to, or something like that, and then they'd have the problem of we knew and we didn't do nothing about it, and you know all that stuff. So Hannity asked Netanyahu, old Bibi, about the the conspiracy that's going around saying that Netanyahu pressured Trump into bombing Iran. So let's check this out.
You know, there are people that say, well, the prime minister of Israel dragged Donald Trump into it. And as somebody that's been friends with him over 30 years, nobody drags Donald Trump into anything, number one. But I want to get your reaction to that.
Well, you're right. I mean, that's ridiculous. Donald Trump is the strongest leader in the world.
Okay, so I've heard the talking point a million times that Iran is the #1 sponsor of terrorism. It is something that the war hawks love to say. I've actually never once heard a coherent definition of terrorism and then a demonstration that they're the worst of it. The IDF is the worst terrorist organization in the region. Let's get real. The United States of America is arguably the worst terrorist organization in the world. If you want to look over the last 25 years, how many innocent civilians we've slaughtered. You're getting us into the neocon. Yeah, that's right. You're getting us into the neocon 7th war, which they've been dying for the last 25 years.
You might want to take down, by the way.
No, actually, if you love this country, if you're a real patriot, you'd have to hate this government.
You said America killed is like the worst terrorist in the world, more than Iran,
them.
dude.
Yeah. DC killed a lot more people than Iran did. And that's George W. Bush and Barack Obama and Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It has nothing to do.
Okay.
Dude, just all you can do is just interrupt because you know you have no point on your side. Anyway, Pierce, what actually
are there
matters
not mass
here?
graves in Iran?
Anyway, what actually matters here is that the calculation has been drastically changed and the incentives have been changed by Donald Trump, even since the 12-day war. Look, for the 12-day war to work out the way it did, really relied on a major piece of that, which was that Iran, for self-preservation reasons, showed restraint in their response. They called ahead. They let us know where they were going to talk. They made sure they didn't kill any Americans. This time, once Donald Trump killed the Ayatollah, they offered through their Italian negotiators, they offered a ceasefire. Iran said no. Iran has now made the calculation that they simply can't let America come in and kill the Ayatollah and not respond, because then they'll just keep picking on them. Donald Trump already announced this was a regime change war with no plan. Absolutely no plan. As he has admitted, as Rubio has admitted, they have no plan for what comes next. And this is the scenario, I got to say, man, I hate to be vindicated like this, Piers, but this is the scenario that all of us were warning about since well before the 12-day war, that now you've gotten yourself into a situation. Americans are dead. I think Mr. Miller misspoke when he said 4 people are dead. 4 Americans are dead over there. Probably more to come. Donald Trump says more to come. We've had a couple Americans killed in Austin in a blowback terrorist attack that's happened already since then. And like, dude, the lack of wisdom here from the Trump administration, like, you have no idea what you just kicked off. There is absolutely no reason to think that this thing is not going to be a catastrophe, just like the last 6 theaters in the global war on terrorism. And by the way, you know, for just final one very quick last point. I'm sorry, Pierce, but then really, you know, interrupting me there a bunch. Let me just say one thing. For all the like supposed like pretend intellectuals out there, like the Gad Sads and the Sam Harris, who have spent a career talking about how violent and irrational the Muslim world is because you can't even draw a cartoon of Muhammad or they'll start killing people. Hey, what do you think happens when you murder an Ayatollah? Did anyone know that that's not just a political figure to the Shiites, who we've had no beef with, really,
your
so
foreign
far?
policy
We've never
is
had a
don't kill
Shiite
bad guys because
jihad.
they fight back. That's like the most stupid foreign policy I've ever heard of.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's Dave Smith bringing it, and you know, I don't know the conflict. All I know is what I've heard about the Muslims and the the Shiites and the all the terrorist organizations and how they want to kill America and they constantly say death to America and all that stuff. But this is the other thing. When this whole thing right after they killed the Ayatollah, right, which is like in their culture, right below their Allah would be this supreme leader. They killed him. And then the very next day, they were in there doing a 12, they had the 12 people, the top that were left to nominate or, bring up the new Ayatollah, and then they bombed them too. So, pretty interesting. But check this out. This is what was going on after they killed the Ayatollah. And this is, like we're going to do one side, the other side. We're going to just look at this and see what we come up with. Stand by. Yeah, so that was them in the streets in the United States. I'm assuming that was the United States, and they're playing Trump's, banner song or whatever you call it, his, where the same people that were rioting in the streets about ICE are the same ones in the street now praising Trump for the Iran war. Somebody help me. I don't understand that. And the chat's open. If you want to get in the chat and tell me what you think, that would be great. Because I don't know how that works out, how that's like that. And we'll go over this again on Friday because I really don't understand it. I just know about the commentary that's going on. But let's listen to okay, so it sounds like to me that this is bad, really bad. And let's listen to what Nick and Alex was talking about yesterday on his program about the dangers of this and Trump going in the wrong direction and going for full scale war and not taking care of the business at hand, which is freedom for America and America first. Stand by.
And I'm watching it sink by its own doing, and so this is horrifying, and so, but I can't sign on to covering up Epstein. I can't sign on to World War III. And so that's why I tried to promote the optimism, because I fucking need this, man. Like, I want to fix the country. I want to turn it around. So it's not that I was delusional. I still hope we can turn it around, but I just, sorry, go ahead. You get what I'm saying?
I get it. And listen, like I said, I don't think that everybody that supported Trump was being dismissive about these concerns. I get it. We all wanted to believe. I was 18 years old when Trump ran in 2016. And I remember getting in fights with people. This is my whole life too. At 18 years old, I wore the MAGA hat at Boston University, one of the most liberal campuses in the country, and became a pariah on my college campus.
Something you sacrificed. It's sad to see something you fought and bled for die.
Yeah, and that's my whole adult life. I know that's a huge part of your life also, and now we're witnessing it's totally unraveling. It's an utter and complete betrayal. It's heartbreaking in many ways.
And when I try to salvage it with people, I get attacked as a liberal, which is when these people doing that can't even find Iran on a fucking map.
Yeah, well, what's called for is for us to be sober-minded about the entire thing, because there's a lot of Trump haters.
I've been a realist the whole time, but was hoping, and now I'm just not even hoping. I'm just going to be a realist.
Yeah, I mean, and really, it's okay to have hope. I mean, we hope for a better future, but we got to be brutally honest about what this administration has become.
Yeah, so, and I'm that's kind of right where I'm at, because I've always supported Trump. I've been one of the biggest Trump supporters out there, voted for him 3 times and all that stuff. And and I'm not a apologist for Trump, and and we've talked about this a lot. I'm not a if he's doing shit bad, I'm gonna be the first one to say. And the Epstein file thing was really one of the things that really got me kind of like wondering what to think. I was even wondering with like Alex, I'm like, Alex, you see what's going on, but yet you're, very optimistic about Trump. And it seems like since the Epstein files, Trump has just went down more and more in the wrong direction. And I'm just hoping that he comes to a senses, which I don't see how we can recover from this, because this is the thing. His advisors that are around him are, globalists. They're war hawks. They're Israel first. They're all that stuff. And so it's very difficult to think that something good is going to come from this when we see what is happening right here, right now. And so that's kind of where I'm at too. I mean, I really am there. And my people, the people that I'm close to, they're like, "Oh, you're turning your back on Trump." No, I'm not turning my back on Trump. I think that he's done some great stuff. Tariffs and no tax on tips, and even though there was a debacle with that already in the first tax year after that came out, people are saying that it's not 25,000 per person. It's like it's only the 0.5 of the 1.5. So if you work overtime, it's 1.5, right, hours. It's a half an hour extra. They're only giving you tax rebate on the 0.5, not on the 1.5 for anything over 40 hours or for over 8 hours a day. And that is a problem. So instead of it being $25,000, it ends up being 12,500 instead of 25,000. So there's some things that sounds like needs to be worked out in that, but at this point, money's not going to be look. Listen, the stock market crashed, which I'm not in the stock market. I could care less, but it is a reflection of the markets, or a reflection of the prices of everything, fuel, everything, right? Oil, or I guess we'll call it oil, because oil is what they price it. They don't price it as fuel or gasoline. They price it as oil, and the oil has already gone up so much. I think it went from like 74 to 95 or something. I mean, this is not good. The Strait of Hormuz is closed. They got a oil tanker sunk right in the area where they passed through the strait, and so China, all those countries over there can't get oil through there, so they have to get alternative places to get oil, like China, from like Russia or whatever. But there's a lot going on that we don't see when we're looking at um, Israel and the United States bombing Iran. The other thing that happened today is Iran shot a missile at Turkey. So, and that's a NATO country, and that's going to get NATO involved. And then it's, if NATO gets involved, then it turns into a world war, and then we're just fucked. There's no way out. So I'm following it the best I can. It's a lot. It is definitely a lot. But let's listen to what this sitcom has to say about this war. It's a report.
Good afternoon. I'm Admiral Brad Cooper, the commander of United States Central Command. In this capacity, I lead U.S. military forces in the Middle East. I'm here to provide you an update on Operation Epic Fury, now in our 4th day of execution. First, I'd like to express my deepest condolences to the families and teammates of the extraordinary Americans who've been killed in action. And I'd also like to extend our prayers for a speedy recovery to the wounded. Yesterday, you heard from Secretary Hegseth and the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. Today, I'd like to give you an operational update on where we are and provide you with some key facts. By order of the President of the United States and the Secretary of War, our military in the Middle East is undertaking an unprecedented operation to eliminate Iran's ability to threaten Americans, as they've been doing for nearly half a century. Having spent more than 36 years in the military, I could not be prouder of America's sons and daughters in uniform who are answering the call. More than 50,000 troops, 200 fighters, 2 aircraft carriers, and bombers from the United States are participating in this operation, and more capabilities on the way. These forces bring a massive amount of firepower, representing the largest buildup by the U.S. in the Middle East in a generation. In the opening hours of Operation Epic Fury, U.S. Central Command forces, together with Israel, delivered overwhelming and unprecedented strikes into Iran. Many of you may remember the shock and awe strikes of 2003. The first 24 hours
On
of this
August 20
operation were nearly double the scale, and we continue with 24/7 strikes into Iran from seabed to space and cyberspace. Now, we're less than 100 hours into this operation, and we've already struck nearly 2,000 targets with more than 2,000 munitions. We have severely degraded Iran's air defenses and destroyed hundreds of Iran's ballistic missiles, launchers, and drones. And in simple terms, we're focused on shooting all the things that can shoot at us. Our B-2 bombers and B-1 bombers have executed uncontested surgical strikes against multiple missile facilities deep inside Iran. And then just last night, a B-52 bomber force struck ballistic missile and command and control posts. We are also sinking the Iranian Navy, the entire Navy. Thus far, we've destroyed 17 Iranian ships, including the most operational Iranian submarine that now has a hole in its side. For decades, the Iranian regime has harassed international shipping. Today, there's not a single Iranian ship underway in the Arabian Gulf, Strait of Hormuz, or Gulf of Oman. and we will not stop. We will continue to conduct dynamic targeting operations. We're hunting Iran's last remaining mobile ballistic missile launchers to eliminate what I would characterize as their lingering launch capability. Now, in retaliation, the Iranian regime has launched over 500 ballistic missiles and over 2,000 drones. To be clear, Iran is indiscriminately targeting civilians as they launch these missiles and drones. You've seen it on TV. The evidence is crystal clear and overwhelming. Having said this, we are seeing Iran's ability to hit us and our partners is declining, while our combat power, on the other hand, is building. And my overall operational assessment is that we are ahead of our game plan. Along the way, every single branch of our military is achieving unprecedented success. I'll talk about just a few of them. Our naval forces have deployed multiple waves of cruise missiles, obliterating Iranian command and control and air defense capabilities. From 2 aircraft carrier strike groups, we're squeezing Iran from the sea and have them backed into their own ports. U.S. air forces are doing what they do best, executing a high volume of airstrikes right into Iran. Operationally, the 2 most powerful air forces in the world, the U.S. and Israel, are dominating the skies of the world's largest state sponsor of terror. Our U.S. Army soldiers are defending ourselves and our partners, and in a historic first, the U.S. Army fired long-range precision strike missiles called PRISMs in combat, providing an unrivaled deep strike capability. Also, for the first time, U.S. Central Command's drone task force, called Task Force Scorpion Strike, launched countless one-way attack drones, achieving massive effects. I'd like to point out these drones were originally an Iranian design. We took them back to America, made them better, and fired them right back at Iran. I just could not be prouder of our men and women in uniform, leveraging innovation to create dilemmas for the enemy. There is no adversary too determined, no mission too difficult for the great soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Guardians, and Coast Guardsmen that make up the most powerful military the world has ever seen. Our military objectives are crystal clear, and our people are executing an immensely complex and historic mission with relentless lethality, conviction, and professionalism. And we've just begun. But I have the utmost confidence that we, alongside our partners, will absolutely achieve our military objectives. All our warriors, Godspeed. Thanks so much.
All right, so that that's what we got there. Now I got to run this ad past so I can get to this video because I didn't have time to clip it. It just
second. I told viewers
so stand by.
that the road.
We should also note the Iranians are reducing the amount of missiles they're launching because the Americans.
A single fatal weakness destroys every.
This is accelerating the war in Iran, but strike at Turkey won't trigger NATO's. For those of you that are concerned about Article 5, which is exactly what most people are wondering, and there's concerns about World War III. If that were to happen, take a look. NATO defense researcher issues a third World War warning. This coming out yesterday, March 3rd, and then we saw Iran fire on a NATO nation. NATO has affirmed its support for Turkey after the Iran missile interception. So that missile was intercepted on its way to Turkey. And take a look, war with Iran has only just begun, Hegseth said this morning, referring to everything that is unfolding. And with concerns of this war spreading into a global conflict, take a look at this coming out today. Russia is testing its World War III warning sirens as Putin ally makes a deeply concerning statement. We're hearing that this is just the beginning. It is spreading. The concerns are this spilling over into NATO, into U.S. territory here in the homeland. Warnings coming out even still today, March 4th, 2026. So a lot of developing news I'm going to get you caught up on the latest. We've got video footage and articles. We're going to dive right in, let you know everything that's going on as we are seeing more developments in the conflict between the United States and Iran. Now, before we dive in, do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, please take a quick second, hit that thumbs up like button. Just help spread this out further across the YouTube platform while we're live. I know nobody liked the news that we potentially could be seeing this spread out further. However, if you appreciate the updates, please take that quick second, hit that like button. Also, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? I'll keep you up to speed on everything. And as you know, here on the channel, I cite all the sources, put it on the screen, read right from it. Everything's hyperlinked in the description. So that way you can know and rest assured that this is the latest information. And let me know your thoughts in the comments. Is this going to spread out into a bigger conflict? Now, I wouldn't say World War III at this point, because it pretty much seems like it's the world versus Iran. Iran is just getting on everybody's nerves, hitting everybody left and right. But do you think that this is going to spread out even further before this is done? If you think so, put yes. If you think no, put no. Let me know your thoughts, but let's take a look at some video footage to get you caught up on the latest.
Trey Yinks is live on the ground in Israel and Tel Aviv with the breaking news out of Turkey. Trey.
Yeah, guys, this is breaking news. Turkey's Ministry of Defense says that an Iranian ballistic missile was launched toward their country, and it was shot down by NATO air defense systems, fragments of that missile landing in southern Turkey. This is a major development and the first time that a country like Turkey has received incoming Iranian ballistic missile fire. This comes as the Israelis are going after more of those launching positions inside of Iran. We also have some new video of strikes against the Iranian capital of Tehran. It's been a lot of back and forth. Alerts went out on the phone here this morning after an 8-hour lull in launches, and actually we're getting sirens right now, and I'm not sure where this missile is coming from. It may not be Iran, it could be Lebanon. Let's get off the sticks here just to prepare. The reason I'm not sure if it's from Iran is because we just got a notification from the army that people could leave bomb shelters, and these sirens just started to sound at the last minute, and so we'll have to see where this incoming fire is coming from.
Trey Yinks is
There you have it, you guys. Now I'm going to play for you the entire clip from that news report so that way you can see it for yourself. But yeah, we're hearing right now the breaking news coming out today that Iran has fired a missile at Turkey. Now, it was intercepted by NATO defenses, and there was concerns about Article 5 and this spreading out even further. And I'm seeing it in the comments. People are saying, yes, they are concerned that this could expand, that we're hearing more nations are starting to get pulled into this because Iran is just hitting everywhere. Various Middle Eastern nations are getting pulled in, and now there's concerns about NATO. Let's go ahead and take a look at some more video clips.
This is coming in from Fox and Friends, and Fox's Trey Yinks, a good friend of the show, who said, breaking, NATO defenses shoot down Iranian missile fired toward Turkey. That's according to the Defense Ministry. The incident marks the first time that a country like Turkey has received Iranian missile fire. How significant is that? I mean, we're talking about the first time that they've seen that.
Yeah, I think it's very significant. Turkey's an extremely capable military force. I believe it is possible, if Turkey feels threatened by an expansion of the violence from Iran to threaten their people, that could be, think of that as a black swan. Turkey's got a capable Navy, a capable Air Force, capable ground forces. And with that, I'd also like to add that there are other groups. There are the Kurds in northern Iraq and in Iran. I've been reading some indicators in some national news in the last 24 hours that some of the Kurds within Iran have been discussing the possibility of trying to help arm and mobilize the Iranian populace. And so I do think, thinking about looking forward to the secretary's comments and the chairman's comments, my assumption is that those are things that are going to be outside of U.S. control. How does the Iranian population react? We do know and assess that I believe last numbers I saw were somewhere between 20 to 30% of the Iranian population is actually aligned with the clerical regime and their ideological worldview. That would mean 70% to, who knows, perhaps 80% of Iranians do not agree with that. And again, that underlines the absolute criticality of how intelligence-driven precision warfare means reducing civilian casualties, means not alienating the Iranians. And I think another key talking point I would anticipate based on Secretary Hegseth's past remarks and how I know our military operates are that there's not going to be a lot of conversation about another Iraq. There's not going to be a lot of conversation about another Afghanistan and putting American boots on the ground. I think, and I guess I hope there are questions, if there are question time from the media, about what does that look like. The United States is likely to have somewhat limited objectives here. No more offensive military threats from Iran. No more nuclear capability pursuit by Iran. And I think largely, again, the United States isn't going to get to direct what happens after the regime is degraded. But I think, there are some other indicators we could start tracking for how strong they are in their ability to resist a popular uprising.
There you have it, you guys. Now, that was a couple.
So that's the headline just an hour ago. So Iran is shooting missiles at everybody and anybody. Saudi Arabia, I showed you the map yesterday. They've been shooting missiles at everybody, and so everybody is gearing up to fight Iran. And I don't know how that's a good strategy for anybody to get everybody involved. It's pretty clear trying to self-destruct or something. I'm not sure. Yesterday, Iran got missiles at all these places. If you're screen here, and Saudi Arabia, Erbil, and now Turkey. So it doesn't sound like a good strategy, but I don't know what we're doing about this. I don't know if they're just going to go in and wipe them all out or what the deal is, but they said this could take weeks, possibly months. So here we are in the middle of a war. They did deny the War Powers Act, so Trump has the okay to keep going. So I guess when you say no more wars, what you really mean is we'll cover more of this tomorrow night or Friday night, but it's not what I was hoping for with the Trump presidency. That's for sure. And I get the thought that I get that. I totally understand that, but it doesn't help when uh, campaign on no wars and then a year and a half you're in a full, not even that long, 13 months you're in a full scale war with your adversary. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to turn out. It doesn't look good. Um, and I guess that just means that he's blown because this war, the economy's going to get shot. All the hard work that he's done for 12 months with the tariffs and the money and this and that, all the things, all the good stuff, just wipes it all out because of this war. And he let Israel talk him into this, and here we are. Because that's the truth. We're fighting Israel's war. This really isn't even our war at all. So I don't know. So I was doing when I was doing my reporting, or doing my I looked at videos and clips trying to find stuff that wasn't war related, because everything on the internet right now is about Iran war. And I came across this guy that was charged for charging immigrants, illegal aliens, $200 to take them to sanctuary city, and he took them to ICE, and they charged him for it. Give me a second to get my shit. Here around here, I do this all by myself. I don't have a producer and all that stuff. I do this all by myself. It takes a little bit longer than having somebody push a button while I'm talking. Seems like I'm a little distracted sometimes. I probably am. Get it done. Stand by. I forgot it's not a video. Article.
Welcome to the watch.
All right, I got it. I had to move this over because this guy, Texas man arrested for charging illegals $200 per person to guide them to asylum town. Instead, leads them to ICE detention facility. He should get a medal, but instead, he's been charged in Texas. Yeah. What do you think of that shit, huh? Gotta love Abbott, right? I don't know who the mayor is of this town in Texas, but tells you everything you need to know. Texas should be the spot to move to, man. Let's get into some Epstein stuff. What do you think? Let's do that. Let's get into a little bit of right here.
So there's been a shocking development in the Jeffrey Epstein saga, and it's almost conclusive proof. It's as close to conclusive proof, I guess, as we can ever get that he's not dead. Jeffrey Epstein had his prostate removed. And how do we know? Because it's in the Epstein files. Here it is. You have high testosterone and still have a need for Viagra because you don't have a prostate, right? Jeffrey Epstein. Correct. So he didn't have a prostate. Here's another one. A patient, Epstein, Jeffrey. This is from LabCorp. This is in the files. It says after radical prostatectomy, we had a radical prostatectomy. This is from the autopsy of Jeffrey Epstein. His bladder had 5 milliliters of cloudy yellow urine. The prostate is slightly and diffusely enlarged with marked enlargement of the vermilabitanum. The testes are unremarkable. Boy, you don't want to hear that about your testes, do you? Grok, is it possible to grow a replacement prostate? Grok says no. It's currently not possible to grow a full replacement prostate gland for clinical use in humans. While research has made impressive progress in understanding prostate regeneration and creating lab-grown models, no technology exists today to produce a transplantable, fully functional human prostate replacement suitable for implantation. So no, if Jeffrey Epstein autopsy notes the health of his prostate, but it's known that he had previously had it removed, then he either miraculously grew a new one or that wasn't his body. There's really no other conclusions to be had. I agree with you, Awakened Outlaw. I agree with you. He didn't have a prostate, and the body that went through the autopsy did have a prostate, conclusively proving that that is not Jeffrey Epstein's body that they showed us. Jeffrey Epstein is 100% still alive. I'm going to go with 100%.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a little heads up on this. We talked about this. What's his name? What's his name? Let me think. Let me look it up. What it? Hillary Clinton's brother's name? Tony Rodham. Tony Rodham. Tony? Tony passed away June 7th, 2019 at age 64. His sister announced his death on Twitter. Blah, 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 blah. Tony Rodham. So Tony Rodham, if you look at the, man, I should pull this up. It'd take me too long to find it right now, but
In the DOJ Epstein files, he is known to have a tattoo. This body right here that just came out, the new pre-autopsy photos.
Yeah, scroll up, guys. They can see the arm.
check this out.
He has no tattoo on his arm. Thomas Massey did a little poll. Most people say he is still alive. So majority of people believe Epstein is still alive. There's someone that looks like him on the island in 2023. Who the hell's that? And what's he doing on the island? And why does he look so similar to Jeffrey Epstein?
The same clothing, same.
That looks like something he'd wear. Looks like he's giving that guy orders on what to do on the island too. He's pointing at him, telling him where to go and work. And so, I mean,
you guys pull up the ears. We showed it last hour. The side-by-side ears, who then match somebody else that just died right before he died.
Tony Rodham, Hillary Clinton's brother, died in June. So that's what, 2 months before? They could have cryogenically froze him, maybe even just kept his body fine in a regular freezer. I'm not sure. I'm not too well versed on how quick a body can decompose when it's in a freezer, but man, that nose sure looks like his nose, doesn't it?
The coroner said that Epstein's throat was, bones in his neck were broken in 3 places, which is totally indicative. And the top corner in America, pathologists also reviewed it for the family and said his neck was broken in 3 spots. The man on the stretcher, to me, did not look like Epstein. And how they even let the public see that. Normally when you're dead, the drapes over you. The ears are different, a lot of stuff. But hiding in plain view, there's no barbed wire tattoo on the arm that's visible, and that's the arm that he had a tattoo on in all his photos in the DOJ file. And now we found someone that died right before that looks just like Epstein. They believe they switched the body out. You even got Congress looking at this now. So he could still be alive, folks. This is unraveling so fast. This is, oh my God, that is Hillary's brother.
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Stop scrolling. You need to see this. One of the sonogram photos in the files is different than some of the other photos and emails related to pregnancy that we have seen thus far. So as you guys know, so far we've seen a lot of things related to pregnancy. There is a video sonogram in the files of an unknown baby. There are countless emails where girls are coming to Jeffrey to let him know that they're pregnant. But what's different about this sonogram is the date. This sonogram was taken in 2024. Jeffrey had long passed away at this point. 2024? Whose baby is this? Is this one of Jeffrey's frozen seeds? That is so incredibly recent.
Fantastic find. Go watch the full video from the OG content creator. Tag them below right here. And let me happily fill in some holes for this because what is up? My name is Laura and I am your donor conceived person of TikTok. So not only do we have the contract between Jeffrey and California Cryobank from 2016 about storing his swimmers at their facility, here are the contracts. Here are the emails. I also have an email going back to 2012 of California Cryobank emailing him and asking if he's ready to renew his storage of his own specimen. And remember, by 2012, 2016, this guy is a known SA offender. Plus, if you specifically go to this piece of the contract with California Cryobank, it asks what they should do if the client is deceased. One option is the specimen gets destroyed immediately, but he picked that his gametes would go back to his estate. And please understand that swimmers, if properly frozen, can stay viable for certainly 50 years. And California Cryobank, being the largest cryobank in the United States, certainly has the capability of doing that. And I'm not done yet. Jeffrey was also getting countless emails about egg freezing. People asking him where should they go, letting him know how their egg freezing process was going. He even paid for egg freezing medication. And I'm not done yet. Jeffrey was working very closely with Dr. Harry Fish, a urologist who specialized in male fertility. We have checks being paid to Dr. Harry Fish, plenty of email correspondence. And with how much Jeffrey was talking about designer babies, human cloning, genetic editing, this is getting very scary. And in terms of Jeffrey's own gametes, given these emails, given these contracts, I don't know much how he had on ice, how often he was making deposits, if there were withdrawals. I don't know. But the fact that he chose to have his gametes go back to his estate upon being deceased, and we're seeing sonograms from 2024, I am getting freaked out over how many puzzle pieces we continue to find every single day. What do you all think? Because I'm just flat out scared.
Yeah, so that wasn't the one I was looking for, but that sure is interesting that he was all that whole thing. But anyway, so for Friday, I'm going to bring up the rest of that. But you know, Jeffrey Epstein is not dead. Any way you swing it, Jeffrey Epstein is alive. I mean, the whole thing, all the way from the drone footage to now we have this new thing where they're saying that his prostate was removed, but yet the person that did the autopsy, which was a top urologist or whatever it's called, not urologist, top what is it called? Shit, I can't think of what it's called. You know, the person that does the autopsy, #1 in the country, and Tony Rodham looks so similar to Jeffrey Epstein. They're almost perfect match. But if you remember when Jeffrey Epstein was on the stretcher and they didn't take the blanket off his head because they wanted the photo op, right? To prove that he was dead, he's heavier than Jeffrey Epstein was, and he didn't have the tattoo. So we'll cover this again on Friday. We're going to get into some of this on Friday, probably the second half of the show. We're going to do it Iran first half and then second half. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll either do one way or the other. Anyway, I will see you guys on Friday. I look forward to you being here. I hope that you can make it. Also, please support us. Go to the description and go to the video description, find My Patriot Supply, and buy some restorable food, buy a generator, buy water treatment plan, or what the hell is it called? I am doing so well tonight. water filter. Yeah. Check it out. We'll be back on Friday, man. I hope you guys have a great night.